All right, South Africa, welcome back to the TMS Book Club. Namhlanje ekuseni, we are out and about in the streets of Johannesburg. We find ourselves in Melville, namhlanje, at the Book Circle Capital. We are sitting with one of the founders. There's an interesting story about how this place was started. Apparently, this is not where it started originally. Mara Sewela Langeni, welcome to the Morning Show Book Club.
Thank you.
You're going to tell me the full story of where all of this actually started and how.
Yes. So Sewela Langeni is the founder of this space. Originally, we first started Maboneng in September 2017. It was Book Circle Capital was first like a book subscription business where people would pay a monthly fee and then Loyiso would source them books.
Sure.
But then as time went by, the numbers were not adding up and there was a more interest to do this. And then he thought, why not make a whole space of it? So it's September, he set up the whole space in Maboneng and the shop was opened, focusing purely on African literature. But unfortunately, like 2-3 months later, the place flooded. That was a devastating blow, especially to Loyiso, so the place had to shut down.
I'm so sorry.
Loss of stock, loss of shelves, all of that. But thank God, in March 2018, we then reopened here. A lady there told us, why don't you look at 27 boxes? And we came here and we've been here since.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, listen, well done for not giving up at
Thank
that
you.
time. I mean, we're talking about floods and people's homes have been washed away.
Yeah.
I mean, why specifically did you guys decide to focus on African literature?
I mean, traditionally, although it's changed a little bit now, traditionally, if you went into a mainstream bookshop here in South Africa and you were looking for African literature, you'll be taken to a shelf at the back somewhere.
True.
And it will be just like a
And
little
a very
shelf.
small shelf.
Yes.
I've seen it.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, no matter where you go. Some towns, nothing has changed. But here in Joburg, a little bit, you can see because of the demand. So, yeah, we wanted just a full-on space where you can see more because by that, it makes it look like there's nothing. While it is there, it's just that the way it's being sourced within main shops, it's making it look like there isn't any African literature, but there is. I mean, this is not even the half of it.
Sure. So where do you source all of these titles that I'm seeing? Like I walked in here and I was like, oh, I feel like I'm at home.
All over the country, there's the publishing houses. So some of the main publishing houses, we go to them asking for African literature. So your Penguins, your Penn Macmillan.
Okay.
But also the Blackbird Books. You had Naledi Mashishi earlier on. So she's from Blackbird Books. Independent publishers. We get independent self-publishing people also. We have agreements with them. And just, we monitor the landscape quite closely to know what's new, what's coming out, but mostly from local publishers.
Sure.
Yeah.
And is there an interest from either Loyiso or yourself, just as individuals, to write one day or to give us books one day? Or are we asking for too much?
No, you're not asking too much. Both of us are very avid readers, and I mean that's why we enjoy this, because it was born from a need of we want to read more of stuff where we see ourselves in
True.
it. So for me, for sure they are, but I don't want to put myself on the stage. People are like, hey, where's the book? Yeah, you said you were gonna write, but definitely the more you read, the more you also want to write.
Okay.
Yeah.
You host events here. What sort of events have you held just in the last 4 months?
Yeah, so events are a big thing for us. So our location is very destination-like.
Okay.
Once you've been once, nothing really calls you back. So
Right.
that's why with events, you come, because that's why we do events. So on a weekly basis, we'll have an event with an author. So we had Terry Adams, actually. She just launched her book, White Chalk.
Okay.
We've had Bonam Mahali did his Behold the Turtle. We had him here. We've had Pakamisa Nzamela, who's written a book about the native merchants. We've had some who's done Ring Fence.
Yes.
Now we actually have authors even saying, I want to have my book launched at Book Circle Capital, which is nice.
Oh, wow.
Initially, we didn't have that. You know, you were still like, who are these people? We're unknown. But yeah, so we've got a lineup.
So does this mean, and I'm not putting pressure on you or Loyiso, sorry, Putam, are you going to, go, obviously we're in Joburg now,
Sure.
We've just mentioned the fact, Yara, if you're in other parts of South Africa, you walk in, they show you a Smolanyana shelf.
Yeah.
There's obviously a need for the Book Circle Capital in Cape Town, in Durban,
That's
in Bloemfontein, in Kimberley, even in remote areas.
Yeah, kannete. Definitely a dream of ours.
Right.
But for now, it's around solidifying this, making sure that the systems are right, so that if we have to replicate, how does it work?
Sure.
Solidifying our supplies, solidifying our, how do we do things here? Service is a big deal for us, you know, because people are buying into the story of who we are. So many people will say, like, how you felt when you walk in here. They're like, it feels like home.
Yeah.
So we need to be able to capture this so that when we replicate it, people don't feel like, no, but this doesn't feel how it feels in Melville. So that's a definitely dream of ours. Limpopo is definitely, when people ask me, I definitely say there has to be a store somewhere near Teflua, because, you know, we are reading people.
That's the heartbeat.
Exactly. And I always say the Northern Cape, because Luis is from the Northern Cape. There's a new university, there's Salt Blackie. So, and the big reading culture there, especially of Setswana. So definitely. Why not? Yeah.
And how do authors find you? If I'm sitting watching this morning, I've got a book that I'm working on, perhaps I'm self-published.
Yeah.
And how do they find you?
So they can email us on bookcirclecapital@gmail.com, but we also on all the platforms, on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, Book Circle Capital. So that's how they find us. We always ask to see a sample first, because there's a genre that is likely to move the most. So I'll tell you, for example, people here are interested in historical fiction, biographies, more of the classics as well. So your Chionua Chebes, your Frantz Fanon, you know, Chimamanda stuff, but also more of the newer stuff. Naledi stuff is doing well, Releboni stuff, and the classics like Ozakes Mda, Fred Kumalo, you know, Nick Mhlongo, those continue to move as well.
What's the best-selling book right now, Mo Book Circle Capital?
Best-selling right now is actually Ken Temba, The Making and Breakings of Intellectual Tsotsi by Dr. Pio Mahala. So that's our top seller right now. I think people are excited. I mean, he's a former journalist that we never knew a lot about, you know, from the drum days. And yeah, so it's a top-selling book right now.
So Wena, as the owner or co-founder of the Book Circle Capital, what are you reading? What would you recommend our TMS viewers go and get right now? Right now, people can get White Chalk. I just finished reading it. I read it like in a week's time, because I knew I was going to speak to an author. So I read a lot because I have to prepare to speak to the authors. Definitely Ken Temba is a must. Understanding the beauty of South African history in that time. You know, the drum days. They talk about that drum decade where the drum journalists, those beautiful pictures, Umedoli Ratebe and stuff. So that I recommend that, and I'm interested to see Nick Mhlongo's new book. It's a short story as well. Nick is very funny, so I'm looking forward to read that. But the two that I've just finished now is Ken Temba and White Chalk. I would recommend those are the most recommended.
Most recommended right now, but next week might be different.
South Africa, Sewela Langeni. She runs and is the co-founder of the Book Circle Capital, which is our space namhlanje kuseni on the TMS Book Club. We're taking a quick break. Siyabuya, hlala nathi.